Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 7 of Fat, Furious, and Effed with me, Mike Rendino, your host with the most, about to post, whatever, or get roast. um, Gonna try to make this brief today. I know I've said that in other episodes. Last episode, we went almost a half an hour. I could literally go off for hours and hours on end, but in the interest of keeping everyone's sanity and all of that intact. I promise I'll make this one short today, and I'll try to do more episodes next week. I've just had a lot going on, just like everyone else in the world. I set up a web page last week, trying to work on another book to finish up here, while trying to market my first ever book, an independent publication on Amazon called Paintball Cowboys. Excuse me, if you get a chance, you should check it out. Okay, I just want to get started in here, and I apologize for my ranting, but it's just who I am and I guess how things are going lately, and just getting caught up in the spur of the moment of stuff, just like everyone else out there. So I'm kind of going to lump all the categories, Fat, Furious, and Effed, into one area today. I really want to focus on a lot of the angst and anger and everything else that individual U.S. citizens, taxpayers like myself, are facing. I'm going to direct this cast toward our government, the United States government. Had a lot of thoughts, ideas, complaints, etc. I know I've never been a politician, never had like an official office, but just some of the stuff our local politicians are doing here in New York and throughout the U.S. are just, I can't even tell you how angry and upset I am. I'm just, it's interesting. People's thought process when millions of taxpayers, constituents' lives are in the balance here. So I just want to get started with the politics. First thing, this whole COVID 19 pandemic, epidemic, whatever you want to call it, here in the United States. A lot of people have been put on unemployment. When I say a lot, 25 million? Just more recently, we have millions and millions of Americans on unemployment. And what bothers me is that I've seen a lot of posts out there. These people on unemployment are bums. They're just collecting the money. They're lazy. And I can tell you from personal firsthand experience that's not the case. I actually was put on furlough for my job, and I received notice the other day from my employer that my position has been terminated. So that's another story, I guess. But the thing is, the max New York State allows is about just over $500 for unemployment. That COVID relief fund, that additional $600 made a difference, at least for me. I mean, my salary, I don't want to get too much in my personal business, but between the 600 from the COVID and the 500 whatever from unemployment, it still wasn't touching what I was making a week. And other people in worse situations, the money's been great for them. And yeah, I've heard a lot of people, even locally outside of Syracuse, stating that they don't want to work and why bother when they could be on unemployment. And yet I hear other people saying that they don't want unemployment, they'd rather be working. So I guess it depends on who you are and where you're from and your social, financial circumstances, situation. But I can tell you from personal experience, it's helped, the $600. And then my beef, I guess, with our government, local and abroad, is that they wait until last minute to decide whether they're going to keep extending that $600 to people that could really use it and need the money or not. And the thing is, if they take it away, a lot of people, including myself, are probably not going to be able to pay anything except rent, utilities. It's ridiculous. The whole COVID thing, the mask thing, it's, all this money's gone out to places, including my employer, who I'm not going to mention here, but you should kind of incentivize them to bring people back, to keep them back, keep them working, whatever, get them back to work. And come to find out, the companies are taking the money and still doing the layoffs. It's very depressing, to say the least. But with the government waiting to the last minute to decide whether or not they're going to keep continuing that $600 roll out another stimulus and that. I just want to tell you all it's not fair to everyone that's impacted by this situation and by these decisions. It was nice because Congress, the senators in every state, including New York, they get this awesome salary, lifetime benefits, lifetime salary. New York State, I was reading online the other day, our governor here in New York, Governor Cuomo, he is the highest paid governor of any state in the United States. The senators are getting a bump of from 70 something thousand up to 120,000. Yet they get to take the summer off and go enjoy themselves, their proclivities, whatever the case may be, do what they're doing, and the rest of the country, their constituents, taxpayers, are nervous, stressed, scared, maybe worse than before, wondering what they're going to do and how they're going to make ends meet. This isn't right. It should not be allowed. And hopefully enough people will stand up and say, this is wrong, fix it now, or we're going to make you step down as our representative, because it's just totally not fair. I think everyone and anyone in the United States and abroad, whether China, Russia, especially Europe, South America, Africa, wherever you are, we all have a basic right, to fundamentals. And when we contribute, like some of us have for years, into federal, state, local taxes, etc., you should be able to expect a little some of that back when you need it. I mean, most people, we typically go our lives paying our taxes for decades, never see any more than, like a meager $1,000, $1,200 tax refund. Meanwhile, our government, and yes, I'm biased, I'm bitter about it, and I'm really pissed, furious, fat, after all of that, because they get to sit on their fat asses. And I watch them on CNN and other channels when they're going for a vote. Most of them don't even show up the majority of the time to vote on issues that impact all of us locally, regionally, state by state, and nationally. They don't. And the ones that do they show up there, you see them, they're sitting there napping. Like, it's like the American people and our needs and wants and, survival and expectations, etc., doesn't matter to them. They're getting paid. Aside from that salary, I can only imagine what the lobbyists from these big corporations are paying these people on the side to help promote and push their agendas through. And if you guys think it's bullshit, go ahead, do some reading, do some research on it, and you'll see what I'm talking about. I mean, the Clintons, Obama, you name it, presidents all the way back to whenever, local politicians, county, state politicians, always getting kickbacks. Look at Joni Mahoney, Onondaga County executive. Well, with her salary, what was she making? Less than $100K. She gets a job, $1 million plus, with SUNY ESF, Environmental Science of Forestry or whatever. And that was in the midst of like a huge cover-up, that like a scandal with all these buildings locally and the Actors Guild and all this other stuff here, all these bribes, payoffs, and all of a sudden she gets a job working with ESF and things disappear, off the media, off the internet spectrum here. And this happens all over. Again, it's just my hate, being upset and furious for all of us and saying, F this isn't right, something needs to be done. On our level, I guess a normal citizen level, we should have the basic fundamentals. Our government should have taken care of this BS before they went on break. I mean, now they get 6, 8, 12 weeks? Every summer, basically, is a freebie for them. As far as I'm concerned, from what I've seen of local politicians here in and around Syracuse, every day is a freebie for them. Every now and then, yeah, they might have to do something, but other than that, it's just like a whatever. I mean, I've seen people who are supposed to have an elected position and be available during certain set hours of the weekdays, like 8 to 5 or whatever, and they're working another job. And they only come and do their elected duties when, there's an emergency or crisis that comes up. So people double, triple dipping, getting pensions. The whole thing is just a freaking racket. While the rest of us have to sit here, suffer, and worry about how we're going to make ends meet, keep a roof over our heads, and take care of our families. So that's my real lesson today. Don't tread on me. And that's going to be probably the title on this. Or I should say, better yet, don't tread on us. Because this is about all of us. I mean, I can only speak for myself. I'm not speaking for all of you. But I would like to, at least think and feel and hope that many of you feel the same way, that you just want to be taken care of and be able to take care of, your family, and have the government do what they're supposed to be doing and stepping up locally, county, regionally, state, etc., federal, and taking care of the rest of us. So that's my huge thing with the COVID. Now I want to get into more local, state, New York State. Governor Cuomo, back to you. He was, at first I thought he was doing a really good job with the whole COVID response thing back in March. I was watching his broadcasts every day because I was recording COVID metrics here locally, in the Onondaga County, etc. And he seemed to be doing a pretty good job in keeping on task with things. And then all of a sudden he switched from, oh no, China wasn't responsible, to Europe is responsible now for the COVID. I'm like, well, where did it originate from? And Cuomo and other politicians, governors, etc., were like, oh no, the spread from Europe, Europe. I'm like, this is horseshit, Now we're blaming Europe now for something that came directly out of China. They were responsible for it. As far as I'm concerned, China was responsible, and they're the ultimate, blame in this whole thing. They could have stopped this. Other countries, the U.S., the World Health Organization, etc., should have monitored this whole thing better and put a clamp on it before people started coming in and out of known infected areas and spreading this crap around. It's just, now look at, we're all in a situation, everyone has to wear a mask everywhere. Food is rationing, even though they say it's not. Like, oh yeah, you can get stuff. No, you can't. Go to the grocery store regularly. Whole entire sections in grocery stores are still empty. Prices of meat and dairy and other products that we need, essentials, keep climbing and climbing price-wise, becoming too expensive to logistically transport, this stuff in a reasonable manner. And I'd like to, thank our politicians. Well, they get to sit on their asses and do their thing and, collect their money. The rest of us are sitting here, scratching our heads and our asses wondering, when are we going to get some kind of reprieve? When are we going to get a break from all this? Well, waiting. We're all waiting. So now Governor Cuomo, going back to him real quick, decided that people can't drink in bars now unless there's food. So you have to buy food to drink. So it's okay to go to a place to eat and drink, but you can't just go somewhere to drink. So people are going to eat and hang out anyways. You got to take your mask off to eat and to drink. And when you do, you're going to exhale into the air. You're going to sneeze probably or cough. Like if you have allergies like I do. I just try to keep a mask on in public anyway, because I don't want people looking at me, because I get really upset when some of these people walk around, they don't have a mask on, and they cough or sneeze, and I'm like, wow, at one side I'm like, is that an allergy or just an irritation, or could that be something else? Now it's like this whole thing in the back of our mind, it's kind of like a mental witch hunt going on. And anyway, I just want to tell everyone that I hope and pray a resolution to each individual family, person, state, country, etc. I hope we can find a vaccine for this COVID soon and things get back to normal, because I see things down the road a little bit more, several more months. We have another major outbreak, this second wave of COVID that's supposed to be coming in, and I think things are going to get really bad. We thought the riots and the racial BS and the COVID and all that other stuff was bad. Wait till next summer. I imagine if this keeps going like it is, a lot of people are going to be homeless, not working. We're going to lose that $600. And President Trump, I voted for this guy because he was, in my mind, the worst, or the best of the worst out there. And I'll probably do it again. There's no way in hell I'm going to pick Biden. But President Trump, I got to tell you, man, not like you'll ever see this or care or anything, but telling people that $40,000 a year or under is okay for $600 and the rest of everyone else has to suffer without it, that's BS. In the beginning, instead of giving everyone $600, why couldn't you just match everyone's unemployment like the state did? They determined by your wages, how long you worked, what you're going to get, and what you're going to be eligible for. And I read the headlines, the articles, and they're like, oh, it was too much work. I'm like, to figure out what people should and shouldn't be getting, because some of them are obviously getting too much, or actually a lot of people are probably getting more than they were while they were working. So why couldn't you just mirror what the states were doing? I mean, the states did all the hard work. They did the heavy labor, all the lifting for you. Why couldn't you just follow their example and just double what they were doing? And this way you'd still have extra millions that you could do other, things with, to help people in this time of need. Anyway, I'm going to cut this off here in a second. I just want to thank everyone again. I appreciate all of you. If you get a chance, check out my webpage. It's brand new. I started on GoDaddy. Here's the information here. So it's basically my name, michaelarendino.com. I've got a couple books on there. One of them is a full-length book, Paintball Cowboys. Please check it out if you're bored. I've also got a short story. It's a little horror story, more local, closer to home. 13 Curves, Catherine Helen, the Witch of Onondaga Hill. I'm hoping to roll out another book on Amazon in the next 3 to 4 months. I'm really grateful because I haven't been able to find a literary agent that's interested enough in my stories to represent me yet. So I'm just glad Amazon has a program where independent authors like myself can actually have a voice and put our books and stuff out there. I hope to do more on my blog, not just talking about my books and personal life, but more on what's going on with the COVID, what's really bothering me, and I hope that people respond to me in kind and offer suggestions, feedback, and input so that maybe I can implement those in future episodes of Fast, Furious, and Aft. I just want to thank you all again. I appreciate your time. Hope you have a great weekend, and God bless you all. Bye.